like, dang, that's a cool first name, man. So, Grant, we got 3 matches today in EU. We just had our first one, Raynor versus Arctur. You know, a bit of a mismatch, if we're honest. Every now and then in the group stages, one of the bottom-ranked players just has to play one of the top-ranked players, and we just saw Raynor smacking him down here. Our next series, I think, also may be a bit of a mismatch. We're gonna see the French player Garitos, who has not been doing as well as we had hoped, versus a player with the most massive forearms in the game.
Oh my god, he's massive.
Showtime, which again, I think maybe a bit of a mismatch. Showtime, probably a strongly favored player. But here in Series 2, DnS and Hellraiser, this is probably as close as it's going to get to a fair fight today here on the B-Stream.
Yeah, I'd say both of these players very, very even at this point in their career. DnS, previously one of the top 3, top 4 Protoss players in Europe, has fallen off a little bit and did recently lose a PvP series to Goblin. That probably plays on his mind, because if it was, it was anything but normal. Meanwhile, Hellraiser's been doing decent. He's starting to find a bit of form again, but he's never really been able to deliver at one of these premier events. He did tweet he believes he's going to get out of his group, and he's feeling good, and he's getting there. And this game, he's going a little bit cheeky.
He is getting a little cheeky, and I love it because DnS expanded so quickly, right? DnS has no tier 2 tech down yet. Sure, look, he's got a stalker on the field, he's got a second stalker on the way, but he's been cutting a lot of corners to get that second nexus out really, really quickly.
Yeah,
shield battery coming down, and that's going to help, but the shield battery's at the front, not here in the main. He's getting his own Stargate, but it's way behind, and the first Oracle already on its way out from Hellraiser.
Yeah, this is the real weakness of going one gate expand in PvP, is you are very, very open to extremely early pressure, of course, because you are going more economically. And I think Proxy Stargate is the best of that. Now, this Oracle is going to come out, and it is going to find a lot of damage. The Stalkers will need to be in position, and right now, it's actually outside of the natural by the looks of things. It does look like they're going to head back over towards the main, but this Oracle is going to get there first, and no matter what happens, we're going to see a pull here. It looks like DnS has maybe just added a battery. No, but nothing in his natural. This is a lot of damage. This is the last thing right now that DnS wanted. So much damage. So many probes being pulled off of the line. Lost mining time. Everything going a little bit wrong here to start things off for DnS. And Hellraiser's going to be able to save that Oracle. Great start for Hellraiser.
Man, DnS needs to start listening to a little more Toto in his life. He's got to hold the line. His stalkers are always on time. Second Oracle. Did you get that joke, or was it not good?
People only know Africa, right?
I thought people knew more than that. Now, this is really weird from Hellraiser. You know, Grant, 9 times out of... Sorry, I am so amused with that joke. I can't believe you didn't like it. Anyway, normally 9 times out of 10, I usually tell Protoss players, or when we observe Protoss players, we're like, hey, whatever you do, don't lose your Oracles, right? By the way, snipe that Oracle, or the probe going for the third also. We always say, don't lose your Oracle. So whatever you do, no matter how many probes you think you can kill, keep your damn Oracles alive, because they're so important. Hellraiser actually, though, sacrificing that second Oracle in the main, and I'll be honest, Grant, I don't hate it. There's a huge difference between 33 Oracles and 28. DnS will have, had that second Nexus up so much earlier, able to replenish the probes a little bit earlier. I kind of like him throwing away some of those, or one of the Oracles for a couple extra probes to make sure that he's got more probes out than his opponent.
Yeah, I don't hate it either whatsoever. At this point, he's killed 13 workers already, only lost 3 of his own. We do have DNS's Oracle trying to find some damage. Oh, he's really flirting with danger there. Does manage to keep it alive, which again, as we just reiterated, is so important. At the north side, we have an Oracle dashing back into the natural here. There is a Stalker. Some miss micro there actually will allow this to go down. He could have got a third worker there, but now 15 workers have gone down in this early game. Now, DnS, of course, isn't as far behind. He's not 15 workers behind because he went for an earlier expansion, but Hellraiser's third is quicker. And when you're the player who's expanding earlier, to start with, you want to continue that, and that's not going to be the case. Hellraiser right now definitely has a big lead, and it's going to be very, very difficult, as it always is in PvP, for DnS to bring that back.
Yep. as we always say here on this stream, Grant, in PvP, it's very difficult once you're behind to catch back up. It's one of the most snowball-y kind of matchups, where once you get a lead, as long as you keep pressuring, it's very easy to maintain and retain that lead. So very rough that Hellraiser is going to grab his third base. This will be spotted by DnS now, and look, DnS has got to grab a third like very soon. If he stays on 2 bases, I think he's just going to get rolled over. The timing window for him to move out and punish DnS for getting a third base is going to be very, very small because he's got no Warp Prism yet. If he had a Warp Prism, I'd say, you know what, fuck it. DnS drops 6 gates and just go. But he's got no Warp Prism. He hasn't got that infrastructure for gates yet, just now building gates 3 and 4. And yeah, he's going to drop a third base instead, but he is just so far behind.
And Creighton, I hate to interrupt, guys. We understand that Twitch is down in some regions. Some of you won't be able to hear this, but those of you that can, thank you. The mainstream as well is also down. We are trying to get this fixed as soon as possible, but of course things are struggling. If it does go down, VODs will be saved. So if you're watching this in the VOD, hello, we love you. The secret number for the lottery is 3, 9, 12, 15, and 21.
Wow.
But
you're like a fortune cookie, Grant.
Yeah, but only for people watching the VOD.
So whatever day you're watching the VOD on, that's the day that those are going to be the correct lottery numbers, but not on the day of broadcast.
Yes.
Okay, miracle. I love it. I love it. Anyway, so yeah, Twitch apparently having some fits, guys, but hopefully we can get this sorted out soon. We're going to keep casting the hell out of this game, though, Grant, because that is what we are here to do. A little bit of stalker pressure from DnS, but he's really just trying to pressure, pardon me, from Hellraiser, just trying to pressure DnS right now and keep him back on 1 base. DnS is, of course, going to drive these stalkers back, and it looks like he's going to try and get a little aggressive there, trying to blunk on top of Hellraiser, but the big difference is that now that +1 is finished up for DnS, Hellraiser needs to, DnS needs to get that +2 started and needs to get it chronoed right away, because if he falls down to a +2 to +1, if he gets the full upgrade advantage for Hellraiser, it doesn't matter how good your army supply advantage is, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, PvP, a matchup where obviously you're going to have very similar amounts in an even game. We do have Hellraiser now pushing out a bit before his 2-2. Now, Zealots are, of course, very good against the army that we see from DnS, but Hellraiser is throwing a lot at not a lot. He threw away a lot of Zealots there, which I'm kind of surprised to see. DnS will hold on, and it could end up being what DnS needs, but again, as you said, that upgrade, so scary right now here for DnS. Hellraiser is very soon to be +2. DnS finally starts his up, but if Hellraiser can find the right angle, the right amount of Zealots and Stalkers, this could end up being a little bit rough.
Just a very unusual attack there from Hellraiser. I don't know why he's pushing into these 3 Immortals with naught but Stalker and Charclot. He's going to set off this second Stasis Board, and a bunch of his Zealots get zoned out there. I love that. Force Field's actually zoning DnS out, and then those poor Zealots on the Stasis Board acting like another force field themselves. It's still a very strange attack from Hellraiser. Granted, this time he's got the Warp Prism to reinforce, but he's not using it. And he is pushing DnS back, but I feel like DnS really does have a chance to save this. He's got 4 shield batteries. He's got the 3 Immortals. If Hellraiser throws away an entire army here, DnS is even on workers again, man.
Yeah, Hellraiser doesn't need to attack. He has a Dark Shrine about to finish up, and actually there's very few cannons on the map. Were there any in the third, Creighton? Because I couldn't see any.
There's one in the third here, but look at the natural, Grant. Yeah. Look at the natural and look at the main.
Precisely. And I think that's what we might be looking at here, and I think that's the purpose of the Prism possibly too. Although it is sitting with the army right now, it does look like it has just gone and loaded up down to the 3 o'clock mark. What's that Prism up to here? Yeah, what's inside it? Zealots and
just a Zealot drop. Just a Zealot drop, but there are no DTs in it, but the Dark Shrine has finished up. So one more cannon is going down here in the main, but okay, and the Observer getting chronoed out. I think DnS realizes at the same moment we do, like, hey, wait a minute, a DT could end this man's whole career right now. Big Warp-In from DnS. He's going to snipe that Prism before the Warp-In finishes. No, the Warp-In will finish, and there's a couple DTs in the main. So far, the Observer is in the main, though, as well, so the DTs won't get that much done. Just as the cannon finishes up, the DTs get cleaned up here. A cute move from Hellraiser, seconds too late, but it does mean a lot of the army for Hellraiser, or for DnS is in that main base, giving Hellraiser the opportunity to push into the third. Nice defenses, though, from DnS so far. I got to give it to him. He's doing really well.
Yeah, I mean, he's now up in workers. The upgrade disadvantage is still pretty monumentous, but DNS is adding on disruptors, and disruptors, especially once you start producing 2 at a time, are the real comeback tool in PvP. It's what you want, and it's what you need if you're behind. You need to get those big hits, and so far DNS's control has been pretty good. Have I said something done again?
No, it's just I didn't know you were auditioning to be a Motown singer. Grant over there, what you want? DT, you got it. What you need? Observer, you got it.
You're killing me.
PROTOSS. I could rhyme that, but I can't make it work. Grant. I can't do it quite on time, but I feel like that's what you're going. That's what you're going for.
PROTOSS. Yeah, that's it could be done. PROTOSS.
I'm trying to think of what rhymes with S
to
make this work, but we're gonna waste a lot of time that we can't waste because Hellraiser is dropping down a second Stargate right now. Look at this, moving in to Mass Phoenix. Grant, what do you think about a Mass Phoenix transition at 12 minutes? This is a little bit unorthodox.
Yeah, it's pretty good against a player who's going into disruptor play because, of course, if you lift a disruptor, it cancels the attack that they have sent out. I quite like it against an army such as DNS's, where it is mainly disruptors and purification novas and immortals. The stalkers, of course, provide a constant stream of DPS, but it's not quite as significant as what the immortals and the disruptors will provide. And if you can lift those and then have immortals of your own, plus a load of zealots to get on top of the stalkers, it can end up working out quite nicely. I don't hate it here for Hellraiser, definitely. Shield upgrades on the way, but +3 for DNS, already 2/3 of the way done. So he is really close to catching up in those upgrades.
Yeah, upgrades are so clutch in PvP, guys. We're spending a lot of time on them. That's because they truly are really important. You know, some matchups, you're just like, all right, 1 upgrade advantage, not going to matter that much. Like a Roach versus Roach war, you're just kind of like, all right, whatever. Doesn't really matter. But in Protoss versus Protoss, since you've got so many different units in every army comp, those +1s can make a huge difference. This timing from Hellraiser could be impeccable, Grant. As he moves across the map here, still about 30 seconds left on DNS's +3, and it looks like there's going to be an upgrade advantage here for Hellraiser. As long as DNS doesn't land any amazing disruptor shots, I'm very concerned right now for his ability to stay in this game. Disruptor 1, okay, he's going to take those immortals down just a little bit, but now the Phoenix are flying in. 4th base under duress here, but I think Hellraiser's still in a pretty good spot. Yeah,
Hellraiser's going to snipe the 4th and get out of dodge, and I like that here from Hellraiser, because he'll be looking to add his 5th pretty soon. And if he can get that advantage, plus he killed 11 more workers, he's now got a total of 30 this game, and that is a good amount. He's now going to back off, knowing that when ahead, you can get more ahead. He's adding on more upgrades, starting to really commit now to that air transition, adding on Phoenix range as well as +1. Shield upgrades coming in as well here for Hellraiser, which are going to make all of his units, of course, very, very tanky and difficult to deal with. And DNS is starting to fall into a little bit of a hole, and I'm not sure how it's going to be able to climb out of this one.
Nice catch there for Hellraiser, denying the scouting Phoenix from getting in and seeing everything. Of course, that Oracle still alive from the beginning of the game here. DNS, I wish there was a count on how many units have been revelated for an Oracle. DNS has been doing an amazing job right now, keeping that Oracle alive. I love that Anion Pulse Crystals is on the way for Hellraiser. It's funny DNS not playing the Phoenix game, but Anion Pulse Crystals, obviously, Grant, you know the 2 reasons that players build Anion Pulse Crystals, right?
Because they've been watching Rotterdam stream, and that's the only reason I can think of.
That's actually a pretty good reason, I'll be honest. Usually what I say is that people build Anion Pulse Crystals for 2 reasons. Of course, number 1, they give your Phoenix that +2 range that nobody cares about. The really important reason to build Anion Pulse Crystals, Grant, is that it turns your Phoenix beams from blue to the much cooler purple. So that's clearly Hellraiser just going for style points here. The problem is that DNS is not going for Phoenix at all, and I'm going to say that in 90% of the matches I've seen, if one player goes Phoenix and the other player doesn't, the player who goes Phoenix just wins. If there's no counter to those Phoenix, even the Archons are going to try and get under them, but if there's no real counter to those Phoenix, it's going to be very difficult for DNS to win this fight, but it's still going to be a close one.
Yeah, I mean, it's 7 Archons to 0, and that is a lot of Archons. If they can get underneath, Hellraiser, knowing that he has such a huge financial lead, can afford to throw away this many units, and you can see he is doing so. Going to lose a couple of Immortals here on the retreat. Nice of DNS to be able to pick those up, but his economy is about to fall into tatters. This is his last remaining very, very efficient base, and now what this means is the fight is going to have to go well. There's DTs in the back. Is there an observer?
Oh my god, this is so beautiful. I don't believe there's an observer here. This is great. A couple really nice disruptor shots, actually, from DNS. Going to clean most of Hellraiser up here, but unfortunately, there is no observer. The observer from Hellraiser reigning supreme, which means that even though he got the better of that fight,
the Disruptors
are all going to get torn to shreds here, while the Zealots do the same number on that 5th base. This is so unfortunate for DnS. He had such a good fight, and now he's not going to be able to capitalize on it for a little while longer here. And as you said, that huge bank for Hellraiser paying off in spades here at the end of the game. Beautifully done by DnS, but it's just not enough.
Yeah, now Hellraiser did lose a whole chunk of units there. It looks like the Disruptor's probably taken out a good amount of Stalkers and Zealots and things like that. But they're very affordable for Hellraiser, right? I mean, look, he's already got a huge army back together once again. Now, DnS is still pretty even in the army supply, but he is out of money, whereas you can see Hellraiser is mining a heck of a lot more. He has his 5th base up and very established, whereas our Protoss player doesn't even have 4, trying desperately to get it together. It looks like DnS is going to move out. He has no more mining bases that are very efficient. Going to be able to maybe catch a prison? No. There are definitely observers here this time, though. Disruptor's going to be lifted. That means no Purification Nova's going to be coming out. The DT shredding. You can see that the observers have been taken out again, right?
They have really nice target firing there by Hellraiser. DnS going to get driven back this time, and again, the DTs now have free reign to slice and dice. Luckily, DnS has an observer with observer speed, by the way, zipping in to catch Hellraiser's observer as it does sneak back. And this time, actually, if there are DTs available, there are no DTs available for DnS anyway, so it really doesn't matter a whole lot. Archon from Hellraiser gets caught off, but if this DT gets, or this observer gets sniped again from DnS, his army's going to get torn to shreds. But honestly, at this point, it doesn't matter. Hellraiser just needs to defend. He's on like 2.5 mining bases, or on Hellraiser's on 1.5 mining bases, if really. That. Yeah, if that. Huge advantage right now for Hellraiser. Ooh, nice snipe on the Warp Prism. But
yeah,
man, if DnS can win this fight, he has a chance.
And the angle actually favoring DnS here. He has considerably better surface area. You can see like 10 Stalkers right now are firing on 1 Zealot, but I just don't think that DnS has enough. Hellraiser rocketing in supply. He blinks forward, picking off everything he can, lifting every unit that is left, and we should be seeing those 2 magic ladders very soon as Archons fall. I can't see any way back in this for DnS. Down 70 supply, and I think it's just a matter of time.
You know, Grant, that last engagement, really unusual. I'm sure a good player, or like a Harstom, could spend 6.5 hours. Oh, ha! The pause and the GG. Hellraiser is going to grab game number 1. Really well played by Hellraiser there. This is a great PvP. I was just going to say that last fight, really unusual. DnS finding a decent spot near that 4th Nexus, rather. But Hellraiser was able to get all of his army arrayed in a beautiful concave with his Nexus in front. So the Nexus was actually tanking a few of the shots and zoning the Zealots away from this core of Stalkers on the backside. So the Stalkers had like a firing squad with a giant force field in the form of a Nexus in front of it, enabling him to like funnel all the Zealots into a tiny little choke point. And what was waiting for him in that choke point? 3 Immortals. So he was actually able to get a really good fight in what looked like a bad position there at the end of the game. So DnS taking some really good fights that game, but Hellraiser able to maintain control, and he did so by shifting his army composition just a little bit more quickly than DnS did. Really well played there by our Ukrainian Protoss player Hellraiser. Grant, do you think DnS is down and out of this?
Nah, definitely not. DnS is the caliber of player. He's been doing this a long time. He's of the top quality. Guys, I know there's a little bit of lag across Discord too. It looks like whatever service that they all pull from is having some issues, Twitch and Discord. I've just checked some of the server statuses, and they're all reporting that they're having some outages, so we'll keep an eye on it. If Creighton suddenly disappears, then we'll all cry together.
If I suddenly disappear, Grant, there's actually a kill switch located in my office. I'm going to need somebody to come in here and enter the code 483-420 YOLO. That code will actually do a couple things. 1, it will print out a copy of my living will. 2, most importantly, it will delete my browser history.
Yeah.
And 3, it will also tell you where I've buried all that Nazi gold that I stole in my daring raid on Switzerland in the 1940s. So if I do disappear, Grant, I need you to know that I'm counting on you to fly to Kansas and take care of that for me.
What I need someone to do is I need someone to clip that and just edit it a little bit. So it's just Creighton saying, I am a Nazi.
Please don't. I'm already a bald
don't. I'm
white.
joking.
I'm already a bald white guy, Grant.
Just
the last thing I need. The last thing I need is somebody to think, oh, jeez.
This is falling apart, Creighton.
It's terrible. The wheels are completely off the B stream. The good news is, Grant, that's not just A and B stream for North America later today. We're going to have some additional backup. Yep. A C and a D stream are going to be helping to support the NA scene. Guys, there's so much StarCraft later today. You can't even... I know you guys have been using your right eye to watch the A stream and your left eye to watch the B stream like a chameleon. You can't do that anymore today. You got to hire somebody else with 2 additional eyes. It's going to be great. I
couldn't do that anyway. I've only got one that works. In the top right, representing Clash, he is the blue Protoss player from Ukraine. It's Hellraiser.
And his opponent in the bottom left-hand side in the red from Cascade Gaming. It is our French Protoss player, DnS. Grant, I did not know. Does Cascade have any other players that are not Russian besides DnS? I thought all of their players were just Russians. Oh, I'm totally wrong. Wow. Okay, it's only Milky Cow and Skillis that are Russians on Cascade. Their other players, Gung Fu Banda, DnS, and a Ukrainian Zerg player named Friend, who I do not know.
I don't know either.
I always thought it was an all-Russian team. I think they're a Russian organization. But, man, Grant, PvP today, finally, for the first time, standing for what the good Lord intended PvP to stand for, Grant. Proxy versus proxy.
Yeah, looks like we're going to see a pretty heavy committal to the proxy here from DnS. I think Hellraiser may have just been faking and hiding his pylon. But we do see no tech going down just yet from DnS, who is opting to get a couple of units first. So it's not the earliest possible Stargate, but there we go. After a couple of Stalkers are started off, he is going to get Stargate, and then that Warp Gate resets too. So it's not full Rotu. We are going to see Warp Gate this game. But this is potentially very, very dangerous here for Hellraiser. We saw what the proxy did last game and how much damage... Was it a proxy? It was, right?
Yes, the proxy Stargate.
We saw how much damage that did last game, and it ended up being quite a close game, but ultimately that probably did lead to the demise here of DnS. Now, Hellraiser is going for a Twilight Council, and he is building a battery. And is that battery in his mineral line? Or was it just to block off at the front? Yes, it is in the mineral line. So this is looking pretty good so far from Hellraiser in terms of defense. He's certainly very prepared for what is to come. The battery will be done before the Oracle arrives. As long as he sends a Stalker up there in not too long, or not in a soon amount of time, words, then Hellraiser should be okay.
Oh, jeez. If we can just point out really quickly, DnS has also done a really, really smart thing here. His scouting, he did see that pylon on the high ground, so instead of just sending the Oracle straight across, he's going to dodge that pylon, so theoretically Hellraiser doesn't know it's coming. But Hellraiser's done enough of a good job where he's counted those pylons and realized he knows he's getting proxied somewhere, most likely going to be a proxy Stargate. So the Oracle gets in, but as you said, with the...
Okay, it's going straight forward.
But look at this, going for the stasis trap. The stasis trap will finish off, but a nice pull by Hellraiser. And this has been completely stymied by DnS. I think Hellraiser with a pretty good start here this game.
Yeah, Hellraiser can be very happy. Of course, his natural is down. He has defended the pressure that is coming, and now knows that there is no tech at home. He knows what he has to be concerned about. We do see behind this, DnS is going for Blink as well. Meanwhile, we have not had any tech started off here or any upgrades started off here from Hellraiser, and I'm not sure if that's a mistake because he's actually got quite a lot of money right now. How many gateways is he on? He's only on 2, so we're not seeing any weird gate all-ins or anything. What's Hellraiser doing?
That's a really good question. What is Hellraiser doing right now? No additional gates, and there's going to be some serious pressure right now from him. He can't warp in from a forward location or anything, so it seems like almost just like a macro mistake. Oh, these Adepts getting up into the main here. That's going to siphon off some of DnS's army here. Nice surround on one of the Adepts. One Adept, less than half as dangerous as 2 Adepts, but the pressure on the front, still doing a pretty decent job. 6 probes going down, and so far, the Hellraiser has not lost that much. Just 1 Stalker going down so far. Make that
Finally, Blink starts off here for Hellraiser. I do think that was a mistake. He had the money to start that earlier. I did not choose to do so, but he finds a good amount of damage here. You can see Hellraiser now with that probe lead will be pretty content. He's going to be the first to bite, I believe, and add on the Forge. Yes, And that's a very, very important piece of tech, of course. If you can get ahead in upgrades in PvP, you're in a grand spot. So both players will probably look for thirds in the next minute or so, but for now it's just going to be pro, tech, and upgrades on the side of Hellraiser.
Yeah, sort of. We're now exiting the early game phase, moving into the mid game, seeing what these players' strategies are really going to blossom into. We've seen them in their larval sort of prepubescent stage, whatever the prepubescent is for a caterpillar, and then they're going to get into their cocoons here if for minutes 6 through 8 probably, get that tech upgrade, melt down into a pile of unintelligible goo, and then reform into a beautiful Butterfree and fly across the map and cast poison powder on each other. I think that's how StarCraft works, right, Grant?
Yeah.
That sounds right.
I'm just going to let you dig yourself out of this Pokemon hole that you've dug yourself into.
If there's a hole filled with Pokemon, I'm diving into it.
Oh,
I don't know if you know, but all the cool casters are into Pokemon now. I was on Rotterdam's stream the other day, maybe yesterday actually.
When he pulled out his folder?
Yeah!
That was so funny. Yeah. Someone asked him how much money he makes, and he's like, oh, let me just pull out my folder. He just pulled out a folder full of Pokemon cards.
Fucking lad. And then
I was casually
as shit, opened it up to the page with every goddamn shiny Pokemon ever. It was incredible. Yeah. It was incredible.
Absolute baller. See, us commentators are only played in Pokemon. I will be joined later on today by professional Pokemon player. He actually does play professional Pokemon. Pengy, previously known as Penguin, for the rest of NA. So that will be fun. As Creighton says, all the cool players play Pokemon. I was playing it all day today. I'm not even joking.
I know. I'm most excited, and guys, the reason we're talking about Pokemon is nothing's happening right now. Yeah. Hellraiser's up, his +1's a little bit further ahead, and so is his charge. And that's it. They're macroing up. They're in those Caterpie cocoons right now, becoming the beautiful Butterfree that they will soon. Anyway, Grant, I was gonna say I'm not as excited for like Pokemon Sword and Shield. I've kind of gotten over the traditional Pokemon games, but let me tell you, the next game I'm gonna buy for my Nintendo Switch, Pokemon Snap 2. No question.
Oh yeah, I'm so cute.
I cannot wait. I've been jazzed for that ever since the original Wii U came out, and they had the little Wii U controller, and I was like, if they don't come out with Pokemon Snap for this, they're idiots. And now they're finally doing it. Can't wait. So this is no longer ESL StarCraft 2. This is now
ESL Pokemon.
Pokemon Snap promotion stream.
Yeah.
Nintendo, if you're listening, give us free stuff.
Oh, don't. Dark Shrine on the way here for Hellraiser. Both players are getting up their third and fourth base here for Hellraiser. Hellraiser going quite quick into this fourth base. Does leave him a little bit behind here. Supply, but it's very, very slight. His upgrade, though, is just so far ahead. Not only has did he start it earlier, but he's also been chronoing more efficiently. We do see Disruptor production here for DnS. Only off of one Robo, I believe. Yeah, just the one Robo for now. We should see a second one added on as that fourth goes down. But both players very, very chilled for the last 2 or 3 minutes. Just really trying to get up to the stage where they want to fight. No rush. 10 minutes. And now it's going to come down, now it's time to cook the mustard.
So, Grant, what's really interesting is these players are going for the strategies that worked for them last game. What was DNS's big strength last game? His disruptor shots were huge. Yeah. What's he going for this game? Earlier disruptors. Last game, what did Hellraiser do the best? He expanded, he defended, he teched, he got those upgrades. What's he doing this game? Expanding, teching, upgrades, and adding on DTs as well. It's like they both learned from the previous series, or the previous map, rather, what they were both best at, and now they're trying to lean into those strengths. Already, DT Blink on the way, Hellraiser 1 upgrade cycle ahead, give or take, and DNS just trying to defend his best right now and wait until those disruptors can really get up to a scary number so he can really take out Hellraiser's army. But Hellraiser could be posturing for a 5th here very soon, I think. And if he gets a 5th while DNS is on 3, this could be a really ugly match.
Yeah, Hellraiser's been expanding quite a bit quicker than DNS. One thing he has not done this game is transition into Phoenixes like we saw last game. Purification never comes, but it hits some Stalkers as well as the Zealots. Nothing really phenomenal is happening right now for DNS. It just doesn't seem to be clicking compared to how it is for Hellraiser, who is also now researching Shadow Stride. He is moving into disruptor production of his own. He is currently still only on 1 Robo, but the second has gone down for DNS, as we said. same time as the fourth, but the fifth already on the way here for Hellraiser, who is now up 11 workers and really starting to pull ahead.
Yeah, man, I don't know what DnS is doing here, man. He's seen that there's a fourth base down for his opponent and was ages ago. He's only just now getting his own fourth base down. And I feel like at this point, as a StarCraft player, you've got to be like, well, my opponent's mining more than I am. I probably better stop that. Finally, he's going to try and move out here. Will force Hellraiser out. A nice aggressive blink there, sniping a couple of sentries. And actually, Hellraiser's going to turn tail and fight there. Bit of a mistake from Hellraiser to try and turn and fight there. Did lose an awful lot. DnS has significant army supply advantage right now, even though Hellraiser does have the upgrade advantage. +2 just about to finish for DnS. This is going to be DnS's best chance to get across.
DnS has about a 30-second window where he really should go right now, and of course he can't see that like we can. In terms of tech, in terms of army, his is considerably stronger right now. Look at the Immortal. Armies right now, there are a lot of DTs. Is there an observer here?
Oh boy, there's not
I can't
an
see
observer
one.
here, Grant. I don't see one at all.
The DT's flanking.
A lot of trouble. Yeah, DT. Oh god, the DTs are flanking. Oh no, there isn't an Oracle, but it's
got
going
no
to use
energy.
all of its energy. No revelation available. Where are those two observers? Observer number 1 out here outside the fourth base. Observer number 2 in the main, just sitting there. These DTs could get so much done. Oh go, baby, go.
Hellraiser, of course, doesn't
I'm just cheering for
know.
DTs. I don't even care whose DTs they are. I just want DTs to mess some shit up.
Oh, bada boom.
Just an important tip for you kids back home. It doesn't matter how big your DT count is. It matters how you use it.
Oh yes, and this is where they come in. We do see Purification Nova going onto the Zealots here, but the DTs, of course, unknown. They blink out of the Purification Nova force fields to save the day, but every Disruptor is in the back and taking a lot of damage. They will just about escape. Blink on the DT, still on cooldown. They're trying to chase this down. Where is the Observer? Finally joins the army, but a monumental mistake there from DnS. And it's so uncharacteristic because he's so bloody good. But unfortunately, Hellraiser finding so much damage, and now he's ahead in upgrades, ahead in workers. Everything looking good right now for the Ukrainian.
Yeah, a couple cool flash moments of brilliance there from DnS. Of course, seeing the DTs blink away from the Disruptor Ball and then realizing, oh, if they've just used your blink, then I can suddenly use Force Fields again, waiting until that happened to get the Force Fields out. That was actually really nice from DnS. I really like that. He has maintained his army supply lead, which he's had now for just a little while. So really well done there by DnS on a couple fronts. But as you said, Hellraiser on 5 bases, DnS 4th just finishing. The income's crazy favoring Hellraiser for the past 4 minutes now, as he's been 2 bases ahead and then 1 base ahead. Finally, +3 starting for DnS, but already Hellraiser working on +1 armor. Or pardon me, +1 shields. It's going to take some massive hits. Oh my god, some massive hits here from DnS!
That's a great
Disruptors.
start. Yeah, now DnS's army is looking a little bit weak. As long as there are observers around, Blink to save the rest of that army. But it is mainly, there is only 1 Disruptor to 7. Instant cancel there from DnS. Hellraiser in a little bit of trouble. He's going to get a big catch here, actually, on some of those DTs. And as long as he keeps his observers safe, Hellraiser still with a lead despite losing all those Disruptors.
Man, again, this game, action all over the map right now. Little skirmishes happening hither and thither. We just have to figure out where they are. These Disruptors getting caught, though. An aggressive blink forward from Hellraiser. No, he's going to be very judicious there. Not going to blink ahead. Blinks away instead, sniping a second Disruptor. That's really great play from Hellraiser here. I'll be honest, while DnS has had some really good engagements here, Hellraiser has not made the kind of mistakes that DnS really needs him to make as of right now.
Yeah, and in a mirror matchup, PvP, I would say specifically, and TVT to a degree, it's very, very difficult to come back from behind unless your opponent makes a mistake, and Hellraiser has been all around solid. He's had a couple of very minor mistakes, but he's not made that overwhelmingly glaring oh shit moment that would allow DnS to really come back and take a lead. Couple that with the openings of Game 1 and now this Game 2, and Hellraiser just playing some almost perfect PvP here.
I love... Oh, man, those Disruptor shots from DnS are not messing around, but Hellraiser, as soon as he loses them, immediately warps in 11 more Stalkers. Yeah. This is such... I love this. This is like... you know the quote... I can't remember who it was, some famous physicist or scientist or something, who said, I know not what weapons World War III will be fought with, but I know that World War III will be fought with sticks and stones. I feel like we're in sticks and stones territory right now. It's all blink stalkers and DTs. You know, we see a lot of PvPs going to carriers or tempests. Who needs that? That's garbage. Nobody cares, Grant. What I want to see are 1,000 little, oh my god, a ton of disruptor shots everywhere. I want to see blink stalkers on blink stalkers. I want to see DTs getting flanked. Oh man,
such good target fire.
Four Immortals, really nicely done by Hellraiser. DnS has been trying to get the Zealots out of Hellraiser's army, but he's also sacrificed a lot of his own Stalkers along with that. And Hellraiser's doing a great job of keeping pressure on multiple places
and I mean,
on the map.
Look at the expansion now as well, up towards the top left side. He's now moving into his opponent's side of the base. DTs here, and a lot of DnS are going to be able to pick off a couple of units. Zealots to charge forward and take them down. Well, at the 9 o'clock mark, we do have an army moving in from Hellraiser, looking to see if he can find fight. There's plenty of cannons to defend here. It doesn't look like either player really finding anything. As you said, it's just so many Stalkers at either side right now. We're looking at... Hellraiser has 45 Stalkers.
Holy smokes, yeah. Man, I will say Hellraiser just lost a lot of DTs on the bottom side of the map, and I love it now that observers are like the second most important unit in the game right now, besides these blink stalkers. If you lose your observer, you just straight up lose the game. Players have got to be so cautious with those observers now. Hellraiser grabbing base number 8, DnS still on 5. Did I count right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, playing base number 7. And DnS still just on 5. Holy smokes.
Yeah, Hellraiser's bank is just ridiculous as well at this point. He can afford to be very inefficient because when you have 4.5k, nearly 3k, it's very difficult for your opponent. All he needs to do really... okay, well, you can't be that inefficient, lad. Let's calm down. All he needs to do now is just trade relatively even and he will win the game because his opponent doesn't have any bloody money.
And Hellraiser getting dangerously close. I know we've talked about it on our stream before. The A stream won't share this information with you because they're, bound by professionalism stuff. But I can confirm that those of you who don't know, according to the DreamHack rules, when a player has over 5,000 minerals, they're legally required to put a monocle in one of their eyes. And that actually slows your APM down a lot. It makes it more difficult to see the screen. So it's really important that Hellraiser keeps that minerals down below 5,000. And of course, if your gas also goes over 5,000, you have to put a monocle in your second eye as well. So he's got to be really cautious to spend those minerals, because right now Hellraiser, the reason his APM is dropping is because he's scrambling at his desk right now to find his DreamHack issued monocle to put him in his eye. And that's why DnS is going to get a better trade in this fight here, Grant.
What's happening? We see Hellraiser moving backwards, trying to keep his units alive. I've lost it, it's gone. Double Stargate is up for DnS, who looks like he is going to finally transition. +2 armor on the way for Hellraiser as he adds on more and more gateways. Doesn't look like he will be transitioning to Stargate. None of them have been thrown down at all. Finally going to take down this proxy Stargate that was put down literally 16 minutes ago. But again, the banks, I mean... Hellraiser is monocles, yeah.
Well, yeah, so this is actually what's really interesting for DnS, because look at the upgrades right now. DnS finally working on +2 shields. Hellraiser about to finish +3 Protoss shields. So there's no way DnS wins on the ground right now. Shy of like 13 incredible consecutive disruptor shots, Hellraiser just going to have such a cushier defense than DnS does. So getting the Tempests out, getting the Mothership out, switching over to mass Stargate units is about the only way that DnS is going to be able to eke out a really solid army compositional advantage right now. So I do like the fact that he's transitioning, and the fact that Hellraiser has not only not spotted this, great splitting by the way from DnS there, that could have been much worse. By the way, the reason that Hellraiser has not spotted this yet, or the fact that he's not responding to it, is actually a little dangerous. I'm a bit concerned.
DTs fighting DTs, probably. Yep, lots of DTs fighting each other here. Do so much single target DPS in these fights, able to completely shred here. We can see that the Observer's trying to move forth. This Prism does look like it will be okay. Yep. But another attempt at a base sniped here by Hellraiser, who is now at 40 supply. It's going to continue these counterattacks. Should also allow him to see the Tempest coming in. Main thing right now, if we take a look at the units tab, there are still nearly 30 Stalkers, and they're very good against such low numbers of Tempests.
Oh! Jiminy Christmas! These Disruptor Wars are insane right now. DnS barely winning, but Hellraiser getting some incredible shots. The Fleet Bacon is going to go down, so put the eggs back in the fridge, kids. because there's no breakfast for you anymore. And look at this, +2 shields has been stopped. If you can snipe that forge, that's going to be huge. And that means DnS going to be stuck on +1 shield. Hellraiser on +3. If he focus fires down this Mama ship, this game going to get real ugly, Grant.
Yeah, I would have really liked to see the forge get targeted down. You can see that it's trying to wear away. But GG is called. It actually doesn't matter.